Welcome to this daily PBJ devotional. Read 2 Samuel 13, Daniel 3, and Mark 13. This devotional is about 2 Samuel 13. After some time, David's son Amnon fell in love with Tamar, the beautiful sister of David's son Absalom. Amnon was sick with frustration over his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin, and it seemed implausible for him to do anything to her. Now Amnon had a friend named Jonadab, the son of David's brother Shimeah. Jonadab was a very shrewd man, and he asked Amnon, "Why are you, the son of the king, so depressed morning after morning? Won't you tell me?" Amnon replied, "I am in love with Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister." Jonadab told him, "Lie down on your bed and pretend you are ill. When your father comes to see you, say to him, 'Please let my sister Tamar come and give me something to eat. Let her prepare it in my sight, so I may watch her and eat it from her hand.'" So Amnon lay down and feigned illness. When the king came to see him, Amnon said, "Please let my sister Tamar come and make a couple of cakes in my sight, so that I may eat it from her hand." Then David sent word to Tamar at the palace, "Please go to the house of Amnon your brother and prepare a meal for him." So Tamar went to the house of her brother Amnon, who was lying down. She took some dough, kneaded it, made cakes in his sight, and baked them. Then she brought the pan and set it down before him, but he refused to eat. "Send everyone away," said Amnon, and everyone went out. Then Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the food into the bedroom, so that I may eat it from your hand." Tamar took the cakes she had made and went to her brother Amnon's bedroom. And when she had brought them to him to eat, he took hold of her and said, "Come lie with me, my sister." "No, my brother," she cried, "do not violate me, for such a thing should never be done in Israel. Do not do this disgraceful thing. Where could I ever take my shame? And you would be like one of the fools in Israel. Please speak to the king, for he will not withhold me from you." But Amnon refused to listen to her, and being stronger, he violated her and lay with her. Then Amnon hated Tamar with such intensity that his hatred was greater than the love he had previously had. "Get up," he said to her, "be gone." "No," she replied, "sending me away is worse than this great wrong you have already done to me." But he refused to listen to her. Instead, he called to his attendant and said, "Throw this woman out and bolt the door behind her." So Amnon's attendant threw her out and bolted the door behind her. Now Tamar was wearing a robe of many colors, because this is what the king's virgin daughters wore. And Tamar put ashes on her head and tore her robe. And putting her hand on her head, she went away crying aloud. Her brother Absalom said to her, "Has your brother Amnon been with you? Be quiet for now, my sister. He is your brother. Do not take this thing to heart." So Tamar lived as a desolate woman in the house of her brother Absalom. When King David heard all this, he was furious, and Absalom never said a word to Amnon, either good or bad, because he hated Amnon for violating his sister Tamar. 2 years later, when Absalom's sheep shearers were at Baal Hazor, near Ephraim, he invited all the sons of the king. And he went to the king and said, "Your servant has just hired shearers. Will the king and his servants please come with me?" "No, my son," the king replied. "We should not all go, or we would be a burden to you." Although Absalom urged him, he was not willing to go, but gave him his blessing. "If not," said Absalom, "please let my brother Amnon go with us." "Why should he go with you?" the king asked. But Absalom urged him, so the king sent Amnon and the rest of his sons. Now Absalom had ordered his young men, "Watch Amnon until his heart is merry with wine, and when I order you to strike Amnon down, you are to kill him. Do not be afraid. Have I not commanded you? Be courageous and valiant." So Absalom's young men did to Amnon just as Absalom had ordered. Then all the other sons of the king got up, and each one fled on his mule. While they were on the way, a report reached David. Absalom has struck down all the sons of the king. Not one of them is left. Then the king stood up, tore his clothes, and lay down on the ground. And all his servants stood by with their clothes torn. But Jonadab, the son of David's brother Shimeah, spoke up. My lord must not think they have killed all the sons of the king, for only Amnon is dead. In fact, Absalom has planned this since the day Amnon violated his sister Tamar. So now, my lord the king, do not take to heart the report that all the sons of the king are dead. Only Amnon is dead. Meanwhile, Absalom had fled. When the young man standing watch looked up, he saw many people coming down the road west of him, along the side of the hill. And the watchman went and reported to the king, I see men coming from the direction of Horonaim, along the side of the hill. So Jonadab said to the king, Look, the sons of the king have arrived. It is just as your servant said. And as he finished speaking, the sons of the king came in, wailing loudly. Then the king and all his servants also wept very bitterly. Now Absalom fled and went to Talmai, son of Ammihud, king of Geshur. But David mourned for his son every day. After Absalom had fled and gone to Geshur, he stayed there 3 years. And King David longed to go to Absalom, for he had been consoled over Amnon's death. This is God's word. I wonder what David's family life looked like. Whatever it looked like, it certainly did not resemble the lives of most other families in his kingdom. He was married to multiple women who bore him multiple children. By contrast, most Israelite marriages were monogamous. The few men who had more than one wife probably only had 2 wives, and all of them lived in small homes. There was very little privacy and very little free time because everyone in the household had multiple jobs to do in order to provide for the entire family. David's family, by contrast, lived in a sprawling palace and had everything provided for them. The boys in David's household almost certainly had a distorted view of women and the relationship that men had to women. For all his virtues, the fact that David had so many wives and still committed adultery indicates that his view of women was very narrow. Maybe this is why his son Amnon treated Tamar the way that he did in this story. Verse 1 says that he fell in love with her. Does this indicate that he was merely obsessed with her as a sex object? Possibly. But it also might mean that he had a narrow, deficient view of what love is and what a male-female relationship was all about. Regardless, his intentions toward Tamar were entirely sexual. Verse 2 tells us that her virginity made it impossible for him to do anything to her. He was not troubled that they couldn't marry because they were siblings. Since she was his sister, he could have talked with her and spent time with her without anyone thinking it was inappropriate. When he finally did get her alone in his room, thanks to the devious engineering of Jonadab, Absalom did not pour out his heart to her, pledging his undying love to her. No, he told her that he wanted to have sex with her, according to verse 11. When she did not cooperate, he raped her, but then he hated her, according to verse 15. I've always wondered why his attraction turned to antipathy so quickly. Maybe his fantasies all assumed that she would be just as hot for him as he was for her. Since she resisted instead of reciprocating, the whole illusion of a passionate relationship with her was now ruined for him. As sad as this story is, David's response made it much worse. Verse 21 says David was furious. That's it. There's no mention of David's rebuking Amnon, much less executing judgment on him for this act. There's no suggestion that David even tried to console his daughter. And by not bringing her attacker to justice, he diminished her value as a person. No wonder she was so devastated. Her innocence was forcibly taken from her. Her ability to marry was taken from her because men only wanted virgins as their wives. And to make it all worse, her father got mad but did nothing. Although Absalom cared for his sister and took up her cause in ways her father should have but didn't, Absalom's approach was also sinful. The right thing for Absalom to do was to become David's conscience on behalf of Tamar. He should have vigorously lobbied David to do what was righteous and just for Tamar. Instead, Absalom sought and got revenge. In response to this, David sinned again. Although he mourned the death of Amnon in verses 36 and 37, he got over it and wanted to normalize his relationship with Absalom quickly, according to verse 39. The problem David demonstrated in this passage was passivity in his family. Instead of showing leadership and doing what was right when one family member sinned against another, David emoted and then did not act for justice and reconciliation. I think family life, for some reason, is susceptible to this kind of passivity. It seems easy to just assume, or maybe hope, that family members will get over it when they're abused or taken advantage of by their siblings. I feel this in my own life as a husband and a father. It is easier for me to act, to know and do the right thing as an elder in our church. It's easier for me to do that than it is to know and do the right thing as a father. But that's no excuse to allow sin to go unaddressed, to allow problems to be left alone, hoping that they'll go away. Godly leadership calls us to run toward issues, not run away from them. May God give us wisdom and courage to show this godly leadership. Maybe that will rub off on our kids rather than a poor view of the opposite sex. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. May God bless you. I hope you have a great day today.